Wait a minute.
When I say,
do you want to go through all this first and make sure we're on the same page?
no, we're on the same page. We're fine.
All right.
Who signed up for Betrayal 101?
I don't like that. Okay. I thought you were going to say Ben signed up. Ben signed up for Betrayal 101.
No. Who signed up? And then you have to say
Ben, obviously. Okay.
Ben,
Okay.
Justice, and Alex.
Alexis.
Alexis.
All right. All right. Go ahead.
Who signed up for Betrayal 101?
Well, obviously, Ben signed up for that class, but also unexpectedly, seems like Justin and Alexis signed up for that class as well.
It's a mess all the way around. But Morgan got a piece in this as well. She comes across like a mean girl and a bully, and I'm not sure where she expects Ben to go if he has some serious emotional issues, because he certainly can't come to her.
For sure, but we'll get into it. Welcome to Cliff Alert. Today we're going to be talking about Lifetime Network's reality-based TV series, Married at First Sight, season number 15, episode number 10.
And today we're going to focus on Ben and Morgan. This couple is in trouble.
Serious trouble.
I like both of them, and it's unfortunate that this is happening. But before we get into it, please like, share, subscribe. Please click that notification button so you know when we upload new material. And please send us your comments. And we appreciate your support of this channel. Thank you.
Absolutely. This episode begins with Morgan talking with her friend, Deborah.
Yeah.
And basically recounting the experience of betrayal by her husband, Ben.
She got to know that Ben has tried to apologize up one way and down the other. Yet she still has this hard shell, and now he's continued to reveal their situation to Justin, of all people.
After he said he wouldn't.
After he said he wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And that's an additional downgrade for him. Yeah. It just seems like she has her foot on his neck. And I don't like how she's operating and moving in this moment. I know she feels betrayed. I get that. But in the scheme of things, the man couldn't come to her. She doesn't want to forgive. She's as cold and hard as ice. I wish he relied more on the professionals instead of Justin, who doesn't have the emotional wit to give anyone any advice. But she got to give him room, because she made it so him closed off on an island, so to speak, and so hard that he had no other place to go.
The walls that she has built up around herself haven't served her any good purpose within the context of their marital relationship. But the other part of that is that, you know, in a sense, she's justified because Ben has betrayed her and continues to betray her.
But honey, she built a wall around herself. She also built around. He was stifling under the weight of her approval.
Because they've only been married, legally for 30 days, I'm not sure that Morgan understands that she has got to give him grace, and that even though he's a repeat offender,
right,
and she's not going to do not only herself any justice, but also her marriage any justice.
Right.
If she continues to stay in that space, in that place
she's stuck.
of unforgiveness, where she's building even more adding more bricks to the wall that she's building up around herself. Pretty soon, she's going to be completely isolated and not going to be able to see Ben.
She's building walls around him as well, so yes, she's cutting him off at the knees and also cutting him off from getting help.
Yeah,
and that's cruel.
And yeah, you're right. And Deborah, hearing all of this, says basically that as far as she's concerned, it sounds like Morgan is closing the door on their relationship.
She's already closed the door, not closing the door.
Yeah.
This sister is as cold as the grave. And in marriage, um, how many times do I get on your nerves? Or you get on my nerves.
More than either one of us can count.
This happens.
Right.
It happens all the time. You know, you get disappointed. Someone didn't do what you asked them to do, and you have to ask over and over again. Stuff like that is what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve. And if at the beginning she doesn't get that, well, she's not going to get that for anyone else.
Yeah.
Because she tells us last week about this brother who said he will go to war for her.
I think she's acting out of pain right now, and you know, to add to the ish as that's part of this situation, she reveals to Deborah that she found out that Ben was still talking to Justin behind her back when Alexis came to her woman to woman, okay, and revealed that this was going on because when Justin and Ben were talking, Ben was on speakerphone where she could hear it.
Well, that's just some some messy adults, some messy kids playing grown folk. Because you can't tell me that Justin, just to score points with his wife, put Ben on speaker so she can hear, and he probably didn't tell Ben that he was on speaker too.
Hell no!
When Morgan revealed that, Ben looked shocked.
Exactly, and not only that, would you think he would have ever said anything else behind that? Once that was revealed,
he wanted that thing private
between the two of them. Justin can possibly explain why he did what he did.
Ben should get all four of them together and have a conversation, because even in the Married at First Sight after party,
right?
It was hard. It seemed like Alexis to take any kind of responsibility for the foulness that she was involved in.
But she did have an aha moment, and
aha moment is not a full blown apology.
Agreed.
A full blown understanding of the pettiness that you indulged in that actually affected another couple. She didn't come full blown with that.
Right. I agree with you. What kind of friend or confidant did Justin think he was being?
He's not a friend
to Ben.
He's not anyone worth their salt is gonna excuse themselves when Ben calls and try to give him advice. Say, hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. You know, we have this professional on set. You probably need to check him out.
And that way you don't get
caught up.
Exactly, in a position
nobody is now asking your question.
Right, where you have to explain, continued conversation that you agreed that you wouldn't do moving forward to your wife, right. Morgan.
Because one thing I'm sure Justin knows is that how ill-equipped he is. Just like that celibacy thing that he's toting around, and we find out that may not be the case, something else is happening. He is, in my mind, fake. So anyway,
on day 30.
On day 30,
yeah,
Morgan lays in the bed, and she already devised a plan how she's gonna wreck Ben's night. Evidently, they had a conversation, and they planned to meet where they first got married and spend the night there. Because we know that because Ben came into the room and they had flowers on the bed and all this other stuff. And she had this hard exterior that she already planned what she's going to do. So when he actually showed up with roses, she takes it and throws it on the ground.
She drops it.
She drops it.
Right.
And then she confronts him with, you betrayed me, you were taking information.
It was like she was ready for battle.
Yes, she was.
And what was interesting about that is earlier, just like right before that encounter with Ben, because they had been, I guess, separate. They had been separate places, separate spaces, or whatever. Morgan went to work out with Thai boxing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost in some kind of like ironic way that she was prepping herself for what she knew she was going to do later on.
Putting her foot on his neck. That's what she was.
And throwing blows and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, inside a relationship ring.
She confronts him and tells him that he's a liar when he tried to say he didn't do that, which he was lying because he looked scared. And when she confronted him and then she walked away, the producers probably told her she's on a show, she can't just drop him, and she decides to tell him. And I thought this showed who she is as a woman. She said, I'm going to continue this process and you're going to be right here with me.
In her,
yes,
in her tone.
In her tone, it
right.
was ugly. It was awful.
And the reason why that is because she wasn't hurt. She hadn't forgiven him for the first incident. Told her that the other side of an apology is forgiveness. Well, she got the first half of that, but she didn't get the second half because she's bringing that back to him, and she's basically hammering him with that now.
The level of her animosity towards Binh,
mm-hmm.
I don't think it's Binh she's seeing. She's seeing somebody else.
Wow.
She's probably seen everyone who has
hurt her
in the past.
Wow.
And she's taking it out on him. But in a marriage situation, since the man admitted to you, he comes from a hurt place.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gotta get a learning curve.
Yeah.
I gotta learn to forgive, and he gotta find himself.
Mm-hmm.
The reason he told Justin is because he hasn't found himself to be comfortable at being a man. So of course that's why he went to Justin. So she got to give him grace and he got to give her grace. And she is saying no to that. She is willing to build walls around her so no one can get to her. And she's quite willing to build a wall around him so he can't get out of that place she put him in.
Yeah, and then she hit him with the R word. She doesn't respect him anymore. And that's just like, once you're there at that point, then it's hard to recover.
It's a wrap.
Yeah,
that's why I said again, was she talking to Binh or was she thinking about something else?
Somebody else. And Ben is just standing there with his face like right there on the sidewalk.
Yeah, she crushed him.
Right.
It's almost like she castrated him.
Ben, I think, is confused. I think that he doesn't know which direction to move, how he needs to proceed based on, again, this kind of like second transgression. Yeah, and Morgan has said as part of this process, you referenced earlier that she wants to continue with him and all that, but she also said that she feels like the best move for her at this point is to consult with some of the show experts to find out, what she needs to do to proceed in this process because she doesn't know.
Well, again, is she gonna take the advice because the pastor sure enough told her about what she needs to do and she ignored that wholeheartedly. I just think that I think she came across mean, controlling, bitter, and angry.
Mm-hmm. And he tried to defend himself, but it was.
And even in the second instance, when he went to her and tried to apologize, she didn't soften at all.
No, and at that point, there's a side of me that does not blame her because she laid it out to him, specifically about how she was hurt after the first incident. But like it's like you said. When the pastor said the other part of an apology is forgiveness, that went in one ear seemingly and out the other.
And I gotta tell you, I mentioned this last week. Morgan's been hurting some folk. Yeah. She's not going around just making everybody happy.
Right.
She got a hard exterior, so she's been hurting people.
Bottom line is that she doesn't know how to deal with it. She doesn't.
Well, because she doesn't know how to deal with it, that's why she needs to give him grace.
Yeah.
How about that?
It would be a great start, but I'm not sure she's there.
It's sad that she is so locked in.
Yeah,
it's really sad.
She's
so young.
Yeah,
to be so locked in. Yeah, I hope she opens her heart.
Would you describe her as bitter?
She is. I would say she's a bitter woman.
Yeah, that's why I asked that question because it appears to me that she is very bitter.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all we have. We wish them well separately. Keep our foot where it needs to be on the ground and
not on somebody else's neck.
Amen. Hallelujah. I'll put 5 cents in the collection plate.
I need to get it now. Pass
Bye,
it.
y'all.
I'll pass it. You know I'll pass
No,
it.
no, no. Bye. Have a good one.
See y'all.